It's the musicality production.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Esoteric Podcast with your hosts, Demosai, T.J.Bunker, and Tuskgarr.
Well, that's new.
That is new.
You know,
Sounded kind of douchey.
Yeah. I think you need to get rid of that e-cig. It's turning you into a bigger douche than you used to be.
Yeah. You might as well give it to me because I'm already a douche, so...
No, fuck you, I'm keeping this shit. No, I don't know. In T.J. Bunker's house recording this, I figured we might as well.
That's not new. You still normally say the hello, and then I finish the introduction. That's the way we've always done it. Except for that 1 week I wasn't here. Apparently 1 week off, and you get all confused in the head.
He's got a bit of a power trip going.
Yeah. He's like, yes, I got to do the whole introduction this week. Now I must keep the power. So, as always, this is the Esoteric Podcast. I am T.J. Bunker. With me is Wesley, otherwise known as Demosai, because there's a space in there, too. Never forget the space. Even though you will forget the space, because it's stupid. I don't know why there's a space in there. And then we also have RJ, otherwise known as Tuskgarr, who does not have a space in his name, because he's smart.
That's the first time anybody's ever actually called me that.
It only took 30-some years. No, 20-some years?
29 years.
29 years.
This is the Esoteric
Asshole.
Podcast. We stream live on twitch.tv/the_esoterics_podcast because, I don't know, spaces and underscores are Wesley's thing because he doesn't know how to business.
How does
Ooh,
Not
you can
Konami.
get hired by Konami!
You know what the funniest thing about that is? I'll do better than their current employees.
Or you might be checking this out over on YouTube, where we put up the edited version of this podcast. Those go up on Saturdays. We are the Esoteric Podcast on YouTube. I would love to give you a URL, but we don't have one. You can also check us out on Twitter. Yeah, we don't have the custom URL.
Oh, for the YouTube,
Yeah,
right.
ours is youtube.com/AW1365BC_712 ?
420 no scope.
Yeah, that's in there somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, you can find us on Twitter. We are at the Esoteric Pod on Twitter. We do not tweet well. We are not very good at the Twitter, but you can find, we send out a tweet just before we start live streaming. If our live stream time is going to be changed, we'll tweet that as soon as we know. Whenever a video of ours goes up on YouTube, that gets tweeted. And we are working on being better at Twitter, where we will actually participate in more than just stupid things that are nice and informational, but not really what Twitter's useful for.
Yes.
And then if you like what we're doing, you like what we're saying, you want to support us, check us out on Patreon. We're patreon.com/esotericpodcast. And yeah, over there we will gladly take your donations. We could use some money for better microphones. I don't know how we sound on the internet. I've never listened to this podcast. Probably shouldn't admit to that. I listen to this podcast all the time. It is the bestest ever.
I'm the one editing it, goddammit. I listen to a segment like 5 times a week.
But yeah, so if you want to get us some better microphones, maybe some video equipment, so you're not just staring at this logo that I spent an hour putting together.
So you can see our pretty faces.
Yes, I have a face for radio, and you can see it if you
I have a
will.
face for under car wheels, so hey.
Wow, that got escalated quickly.
Yeah, that just Jesus. So anyway, check us out in all of our places.
Don't
Like,
forget our
subscribe,
blog.
share. Oh yes, we have a blog now. Although Thanksgiving kind of made that not as launchy as it was supposed to be.
Right.
We got the one thing and then nothing because of Thanksgiving. And
Yeah, we've got the website's up, but there's like no content. At
Yeah.
all. It's all just, oh hey, look, another WordPress page.
We're interested.
But yeah, I'm gonna get that fixed this week. I actually have time this week. I'm not working 80 hours. Yay! Yeah, we went from Thanksgiving where I didn't work a lot, but there was a lot of holiday shit, to working 80 hours in a week, and wow, just so didn't have the energy
What
for
was
doing
it? 9
anything.
to 6. 9 to 7. That one time when you worked over Thanksgiving.
Oh, I worked from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Thanksgiving night into Thanksgiving morning, or Black Friday morning, and then I came home and I had to be back into work at 3 p.m. until 11:30 or something Friday night.
And then there was last Tuesday. There was earlier this week on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was at work at 7 in the morning. No, quarter to 8. Yeah, 7:45 in the morning. And then I worked until 5:30, got out of work, went to a quick little party, had to leave for work again at 7:30, didn't get home till midnight.
Yeah. He was not happy.
Oh, it's been
I heard him
long...
scream from the other room. Hello, bed.
Yeah, and then of course there was Monday night. Monday night was supposed to be nice and easy. I got a job. Takes an hour and a half. It took me 4.
Oh yeah, because of the thing was broken.
Yeah, my equipment was broken. So Jesus, that
You know they
sucks.
usually have pills for that.
Can't get it up? Viagra. No, the Esoteric Podcast is not officially sponsored by Viagra.
Although if they want
I wish we were rolling in that dirty, dirty Viagra money.
They want to sponsor us by sending me a few test samples. Hey, that'd be great.
No,
I don't think YouTube allows that kind of footage, RJ.
No, I'm just hoping it improves me and my wife's sex life.
It can be improved?
Oh, if that's what you're looking for, then what we actually need to be sponsored by is Bad Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, let's actually discuss today's topics instead of
This is
just the
gonna be
other
a fun
random
episode to
shit.
edit.
And the first 10 minutes, gone!
Yeah. I was expecting that though, so we're still right on pace, I think.
So, this past week, or last Friday, or I don't
Last
remember
2
what,
weeks
last-
really, because we
somewhere
didn't really do
here-
anything Sunday.
Somewhere here in the last couple of weeks, Final Fantasy 15 came out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody is talking about Final Fantasy 15, and we're not. Just a heads up.
We are broke as shit. If you can't tell by the fucking logo and lack of video coming, we have no money. Support us on Patreon,
Yeah.
goddammit.
Yeah, we will go see movies, but $60 video games are a little harder to come by.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I rely on my Steam library is all made up of donations from my friends who get like the Humble Bundle every month, and they get games that they either already have or B have no interest in playing, and they're like, "Hey, do you want this here?"
Yeah. Humble Bundle, the godsend of this podcast. If you've ever wondered why most of the video games we review are older, that's why.
Or indie.
Or indie, or yeah, it's because we're poor.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so today we are instead talking about Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Now, which one do we want to talk about first?
10. Because me and RJ remember the least about that of the two topics.
Well, shouldn't we then start with 7 because RJ's leaving early?
I don't care either way. Whatever.
I don't know. All right, we'll start with Final Fantasy X. So Final Fantasy X, it's a game from 2000...
It was about 2004?
3?
Fuck.
I don't remember.
I forgot
it's
to do
it's
my-
a Final Fantasy game.
It came out while I was in No, it came out while I was in high school. Fuck.
I'm trying to remember when... Because 12 came out just before the PS3 came out.
I remember still being in high school when this came out.
Yeah, I know it was 2008 when the PS3 came out. Final Fantasy 12 came out just before that, which is why I never got through 12s, because PS3 came out. I went, ooh, shiny PS3 and shiny new PS3 games. Final Fantasy X I never played because I never did. I don't know. I played 7.
No,
Um,
it came out in 2001.
it's even wow. When the fuck did 9 come out?
It was like 1990 something.
Yeah, no, I remember because I remember playing the. I remember
Were they releasing Final Fantasy games one a year?
something
Because Final Fantasy 7 came out in like 97,
yeah, I don't
96 maybe. Final Fantasy 8 didn't come out until 98 or 99.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I graduated in 01, and I know for a fact that I was a sophomore when Final Fantasy 8
Yeah, and
came out. Or was I a junior when Final Fantasy 8 came out?
I have no idea.
Jesus.
I don't remember when those. I just remember with Final Fantasy X that came out like right before I started high school. 'Cause I was still in junior high at the time. And then later on in high school, I got a PS2, and that was actually one of the very first games I played on it. And I absolutely loved it.
Oh yeah, and just to speak on how I was playing Final Fantasy X, I did originally play the PS2 copy when my mom was dating this guy who had a PS2.
Is there another I thought that was a PS. I suppose it
They
might
have
come to
there's like a PS3. There's like
re-release,
there's
like
like
digital.
an HD port.
There's PS3, PS4, and PlayStation Vita ports of the game.
Yeah.
Actually, on disc, are they all digital?
The PS Vita one is digital.
No. I have a physical copy. 10.2 is the digital one.
Okay.
Yeah. I got 10 a while ago for my PlayStation Vita, and I'm like, hey!
Yeah, I just remember they did a HD re-release recently, and I really want to play that, actually.
Borrow my PlayStation Vita anytime.
I'm going to borrow it this weekend, then.
Fine. Anytime I moved in.
Okay, fucker.
Wow. Yeah, they started going one a year.
Holy shit.
Final Fantasy 7 came out in 97. Final Fantasy 8 came out in 99. 9 came out in 2000. 10 came out in 2001. Final Fantasy 11, the MMO, came out in 2002.
I remember 11.
And then they took forever on 12.
12 came out in 06.
Yep, it came out the year I graduated. I remember that.
And my current Wikipedia article does not list when the sequels came out. So I don't know when 10.2 came out.
10.2, I want to say they came out before 12.
Probably.
Like, I want to say it came out in, like, 2000.
Ooh, here we are.
5?
Sequels. No, that's film and television. They don't have a fun little release graph for the sequels.
I want to say it came out in 2004, 2005, right around there.
Sure, I believe that.
Because I remember it was back when I was still hanging out with certain friends, and they were.
Yeah. So as far as numbered non-MMO entries go, Final Fantasy 13 came out in 2009.
2003.
Okay.
10.2 came out. So yeah, it was like right when I was a sophomore.
But yeah, Final Fantasy 15, of course, just came out this year. So that's a 7-year gap between main entry non-MMO things.
Yeah.
That is the longest they've gone between things. Although they did have to completely remake Final Fantasy 14 in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nuke the whole fucking guy. You know, we were talking about 10, weren't we?
Yeah, 10. So Final Fantasy X came out in 2001. I didn't play it because, Jesus, how am I supposed to keep up with that? It's release schedule. Fuck, man. I was a high schooler. I wasn't rich.
Since you're uninitiated, pretty much the whole premise of the game is that you play as the douchebag McTitus.
Which became standard for Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Somewhere...
I like Lightning. She's not the worst character ever.
Jesus.
Yeah, but the game was horrible.
Yeah.
13?
13 was horrible.
Don't get me wrong, that game sucked.
But yeah, no, with pretty much what happens is you play as Titus. At the beginning, you're playing as this character Titus, and...
No, you were still doing the turn-based...
Yeah, it's still...
The active time battles, right?
Yeah, no, these are turn-based time.
Well, they'd have been active time. Like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the turn. That was the battle style.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing as Titus. You originally...
Now, is it Titus or Titus?
It depends on who you talk to, really.
I say Titus, he says Titus.
Okay, so the non-douchebag version would be... Shit, you proclaimed yourself a douchebag. He acts like a douchebag. We're going to hear Titus.
Right.
I think RJ might be going self-deprecating here. Wesley really is a douchebag.
But no, what happens is you start off as this... Pretty much your character is like this well-renowned blitzball player, which is this... It's this fucking...
Travis?
It's underwater soccer.
Okay, so I got a question. This will shorten this. On the scale of the narrative from Final Fantasy 3 to the narrative of Final Fantasy VII, where does it fall in scale of complexity and amount of absurd bullshit happening? Oh, and I mean the Japanese Final Fantasy III, not the U.S. Final Fantasy III.
God,
Just
absurd bullshit happening. Which one where would you consider absurdity being?
Final Fantasy VII. That's why it was the other end of the scale.
Yeah, it's a
Final Fantasy VIII.
7. No, fuck that. I'd say Final Fantasy 12.
Alright, I did not get very far into that game, so I don't know how.
No,
Final Fantasy 12, as far as I was playing, was actually a pretty straightforward
Essentially, there's
hero's narrative.
Pretty much what happens is these monsters attack the city, and you're trying to fight your way through them, and all of a sudden this big, huge fucking monster named Sin shows up, and then you kind of black out. Or whatever.
Okay, by the way,
you get sucked up into the sky.
Sin is actually the main character's
We're offering
father.
spoiler warnings now? That's new.
No. Sin is actually the main character's father.
So Sin is Tight Ass's father.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and then the whole game is, next thing you know, you wake up on like this tropical island somewhere, and you make your way to the village.
And you meet Yuna, who is the game's love interest. And there's a scene with Titus laughing,
So
going...
the game has... The game is in love with somebody. None of the other characters in the game itself is in love with.
Titus's love interest.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's Titus's love interest, Yuna.
Yeah, it's pretty... When she shows up, it's pretty much, hi, I'll be the main love interest of this game.
Look at my boobs.
No, that's Lulu you're thinking of.
Lulu. I love that.
Lulu is the big-titted goth princess, is what I've come to call her.
So what I'm learning is Final Fantasy VI still wins in the story department.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Final Fantasy VI story was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
Wesley and I did an OST review of the Final Fantasy 13 soundtrack, and during that I took a nice little divergence off into how the Final Fantasy games never stopped to ask if they should once they realized they could.
Right.
You know, when the PlayStation came along and then the PS2, and they realized they could continue to just add more crap into the graphics.
Belt buckles!
They kept... Yeah, belt buckles. What was it, Final Fantasy 13, right? They got the character with just fucking belt buckles. Like, the guy owns like 40 belts and decided he needed to wear them all that one day, just strapping them to his arms and his legs. What he should have done is put one around his neck, tightened it up a little bit, and then died and saved us all the indignation and knowing he existed. But...
No, that's my new meme for Final Fantasy 13, belt buckles.
But they did the same thing in the soundtrack, just, you know, they started with good things, and they just kept throwing more and more shit into it. And they did this, they've been doing the same thing with their stories. They start with...
Speaking of soundtrack, I've got to say, the soundtrack to 10 was actually probably the main draw of the game for me. It's a pretty decent soundtrack.
Okay, granted, I haven't played that much in, so I don't know how complex the romance story gets in with, Titus and Yuna.
It's not that
How complex?
Okay, here's pretty much what... I'll break it down for you what happens. Pretty much, Titus starts falling for Yuna, and all of a sudden Yuna realizes there's this main bad guy named... what's his name?
The fucker who,
Seymour Guado. That was his name.
Wait, were the character... Like, was Square Enix USA, or no, it's still been Squaresoft at the time. Was Squaresoft USA, like, trolling people when they came up with these names?
I don't know. Hey, it's pretty much...
this close to just calling the guy Seymour Butts, you know.
Seymour has... I can't remember what it was. It's been a while since I played the game, but I remember Seymour has this whole... Has some sort of...
He's trying to, like, summon all the Eidolons to, like, do shit, I thought.
Yeah, he's
Are
trying to summon...
Eidolons the summons?
Yes.
Okay.
Aeons.
Aeons. Oh, Aeons, not Eidolons.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's trying to summon all the Aeons.
The Eidolons were out of 6, right? Or was they out of 5? Fuck. Eidolons were out of the previous one.
Pretty much what happens is he kind of forces her to marry him. And so he kidnaps her, forces her to marry him as part of this thing, and then there's this whole battle where you're going to rescue her and all, and it's just this...
Hey, RJ, you're forgetting the laugh sequence.
No, I'm not. I actively choose to pretend that doesn't exist.
Okay, so in the story, Titus and Yuna, they just did some big shit.
They didn't do anything in the end.
And they're on a beach, and they're talking to each other, right? And he's like, you know, Yuna's all uptight, and he's like, Titus is like, you know, sometimes you just gotta laugh. And he starts going, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, like you know, the whole smile look like,
this
kill
like
me now.
fake laugh.
So the Joker invaded the game.
Yes.
You know what this?
And he hit them with Joker gas.
You know what this conversation reminds me of? It reminds me of Spoony, the Spoony one. Those are who follow him on the internet. He's also known as Noah Antweiler. He did a retrospective video series on Final Fantasy X, and he like named Titus, because you can actually name the characters' names in there. He named Titus Meg Ryan because with that fucking haircut that Titus has, he looks like Meg Ryan.
We're talking like Sleepless in Seattle, Meg Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh shit. That.
Nice. So, yeah, it sounds like Square continued their trend of absurd twists and complexity equals depth.
Yeah, like...
Even though it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. Like
they went to the M. Night Shyamalan school of story creation.
Like Seymour Guado, the guy I was talking about, he is this one boss that keeps showing up that will not fucking die.
I really need to check here. Seymour's last name. I keep hearing it as Seymour Guano.
You know, you're probably right. But no, seriously.
What is his last name?
Guado.
Guado. There's a D in there. Okay.
Yeah, he's like part of like this. He's like
really. Were they trolling him?
No,
he's this close to Seymour Guano.
He's like part of this humanoid race that they're not exactly human, but they're like made out of fungus or something. I think.
God, it's been.
So they're 40k orcs.
I guess. You know, yeah. I think they're like 40k orcs, but more human looking. I don't know.
Oh, so they're the 40k orcs
and more ridiculous hair.
They were thrown out of the tribe because they don't look orca. Screw you! You go live with the humans, you stupid.
You go live with the dumb oomies. But no, fucking God, that his boss character just he keeps coming back. Like I think you fight him like what 4 times.
I never got that far. I know you fight him once.
No, you fight him like 4 different times, I think, and it was just. Wow. And the last time he came back, it's like seriously, it was like Austin Powers during that scene where he keeps like that one chick keeps trying to kill him in the disco, and it's like, why won't you die?
So it's like a Family Guy joke.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's like a Family Guy that just goes on for way too fucking long.
Yeah, like there's Seymour Guano again. God damn it.
Oh, the worst part is the final boss of that game is a joke fight. Because seriously, you fight this little blue tick thing.
Neat.
Called Yu Yevon. It's this little tick thing inside of the big bad monster. Oh yeah, you go inside the big bad monster. And the thing is that...
You know what would have made it better? If you fought the tick.
Oh, I know. The thing that sucks about it is that there's no way to lose that fight. Because you automatically have auto-res on your whole party.
Neat.
There's no way to lose that fight. And
I would have started beating on my own party and see how long auto-res goes.
How the fight works is that you have to, you keep bringing up your summons, and then the little Yevon tick thing takes them over, turns them against you, and then you have to fight them and kill them, and you go through each and every one. And then eventually it gets to the point where you can actually attack the tick thing, and then it dies. And
couldn't you skip the summons and just attack the tick thing?
Oh, I thought so too.
Just have Waka throw his ball at it.
I know.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds stupid.
Waka's a blitzball player, and his equipment of his weapon of choice.
It's a ball. It's a goddamn ball.
It's a blitzball.
I thought it was
soccer ball.
I thought it was weird when they shoehorned in a comb as Red 13's weapon of choice.
They got dumber.
Yeah, I
mean,
now
with a comb you can kind of stab somebody.
Well, no, the theory was that Red 13 was like, you know, headbutting and shit. So
yeah,
how do you take a cat-looking thing that uses natural attacks and give it a upgradable weapon? Comb was the best they could come up with. Then they took a guy who has 2 hands, 2 feet, can wield swords, guns, and shit like that, and went, we're gonna give him a dodgeball. That's gonna be his weapon.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, you know, they sat down and watched Dodgeball, the movie.
You gotta admit.
And they got to the scene where they said, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And they went, wow, I didn't know balls were as dangerous as wrenches. Right. We'd better use dodgeballs for our fucking weapon.
I will admit, Waka's final weapon, like his actual ultimate weapon that you unlock in the game, actually looks pretty awesome.
It's a ball still, though, right?
It's still a ball, yeah, but it's like a spike. It's like this giant ball of spikes or some shit.
How the fuck is he melting?
Oh, it's even more bullshit is how you unlock it. If you want to unlock, like...
Is it the Thunder Plains one?
No.
Okay.
If you want to unlock, I want to say it's Walker's Ultimate Weapon, you have to play the Blitzball minigame, and you have to get like over 100 wins in a row. And that minigame is such fucking bullshit.
I got to
cancer.
Blitzball. I remember fucking yelling at that PS2 and throwing the controller at it.
I wonder if that's more difficult than getting Aerith's best weapon in Final Fantasy VII.
I don't know how you did that.
You go to the Golden Saucer and there's an on-rails shooter game.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, you have to score like 200 million points or something in one go. You literally have to precision target like these objects in the back of the back. Like there's a blimp that is literally like maybe
like
5 pixels, and you have to like precision target it constantly while it's on the screen, from like the moment it's on the screen to the moment it leaves, to even have a hope of getting anywhere near enough points. I must have gone through that 500 times.
Well, at least that sounds like it would have been fun while you're playing it. The Blitzball game was not anywhere near fun while you're
trust
playing
me,
it.
you do that because it doesn't change. It's the exact same scenario every time. This is literally you doing it until you can precisely move a crosshair with a fucking PS1 controller.
You know, now that the Final Fantasy VII Steam port came out, you must be really happy to play that.
I haven't played it yet. Yeah, with a mouse, that is probably going to be way easier. But try to do it with a fucking PlayStation controller.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, actually, the first time I tried it, I don't think the DualShock was out yet.
Jesus.
I'm trying to do it with a fucking D-pad.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Precisely. But I refused to quit Disc 1 until I had Aerith's best weapon and Aerith's best limit break, because I knew she was going to die at the end of Disc 1. And I wanted to get them. So yeah, it took me probably a month to finish Disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII on my very first playthrough. A large portion of that was going through the fucking on-rails shooter trying to get her best weapon. That was
you
fucking
must have just been
retarded.
sitting there day in, day out. I'm gonna fucking get it.
Oh, God. Well, no, I'd sit there until I ran out of Golden Saucer money and ran out of Gil, and then I'd have to go fight monsters to get Gil to buy Golden Saucer money so I could go do the on-rails shooter thing again. No, there were literal days in there doing nothing but fighting monsters, getting like 10 Gil apiece, because I needed like 50,000 Gil to be able to fucking go do this. No, it was fucking ludicrous, and I wanted to murder things.
You did it though. And Aerith died.
Yes, I did it, and then I realized, God, that really isn't a very good weapon. And I stopped using it almost immediately, and I changed to a different weapon.
Okay.
That's okay. By the time I finished that game, every single party member was level 99. And I had a master level Knights of the Round. So at the end of Final Fantasy VII, you get to the part where you have to split up into multiple parties to fight Sephiroth. And you, like, switch between the parties. The very first thing I did, Knights of the Round. And then Sephiroth died. And then after that, I, like, went up to one of my friends who'd beat the game. I was like, why did they make me pick multiple parties? And he was like, you switch between them. I was like, no. What are you talking about? Sephiroth died in, like, the third attack.
Your friend probably had this just dumbfounded look on his face, like how?
No, he was watching me play. He knew I was leveled up to 99, and yeah, he knew all of that. He was like, yeah, you probably used a master level Knights of the Round, didn't you? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's why. That fight was set up expecting you to be like level 50 or 55.
You're 99. Whoop, dead.
Yeah, I'm 99. I got everybody's best limit break, everybody's best weapon. I actually think I wandered around getting everybody's limit break maxed. I didn't realize you were going to split up the party, but so my main party that I intended to fight him with, which turned out to be my first party, of course, I got everybody's limit meter full. Just doing random fights.
Right.
And then I went to fight Sephiroth. So my first round of attacks was everybody's limit break. And then a Knights of the Round. And then he was dead. And I went, huh. That wasn't all that hard. But anyway, so Final Fantasy X. I think I see why Final Fantasy X is so popular with high school students.
Yeah, when I first started playing it, I think I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah, I was definitely
I was I don't want to say a huge fan. I was a fan of the game, just from the opening premise, but playing it recently, I'm like, wait, why the fuck is half this shit happening? Like,
Yeah. Because high school students, it's really easy to trick them into believing that twists and artificial complexity equals depth.
And the whole quote-unquote love story in there, it's just like...
Yeah.
Archie just gave me a dead look, I'm gonna die.
So yeah, but how's the gameplay? Because a Final Fantasy game...
I like the gameplay.
You can slog through some bullshit stories, because most Final Fantasy games let you skip the cutscenes. But yeah, if the gameplay is good.
The gameplay is decent for its time. The only gameplay part I didn't like was the Blitzball minigame.
Okay.
That was about it.
But so the main active time battle, I'm assuming, because every Final Fantasy game that I've ever played changes up the way you get items. Like the tactics games, you have the job system, you had the Eidolons in 6, you had materia in 7.
Oh yeah.
You just ran up and picked up the spells off the ground in 8.
That in 10, that was this sphere grid.
Yeah, the
system.
sphere grid. That's what.
Okay.
I think
That's about the only thing besides Blitzball, I didn't like, and that's because I could never seem to max it out.
Okay.
I had I was a fan of it all, and the gameplay is good to boot. I mean, the story, while it is kind of bad, it's not Final Fantasy X too bad.
I liked 10 too.
Did you like the story?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I mean, I thought it was cute.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh, wait, no. I remember the main bad guy of that game. Never mind, fuck that.
Oh, wait, I remembered all the parts of the story I forgot. You're right, it sucked. Crap, and I need to drink till I forget again.
Yeah.
Like Ghostbusters 2. Anyways.
Did you mean Ghostbusters 2 or did you mean the Ghostbusters remake?
Second the remake. Or, wait, which one? Fuck.
That's the question I asked you, genius.
I don't remember. I think I was making a joke about the original Ghostbusters 2. Because...
You mean Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2.
Because then there's Ghostbusters, which is the remake.
Mm.
And there's Ghostbusters, which is the original. And there's Ghostbusters, the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 game, which was a story written by the original writers of Ghostbusters. And that was like Ghostbusters, quote-unquote, 3.
Yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy X, it's a game, if you're...
Congratulations, it's a game. Is that the highest praise we can heap on it? Final Fantasy X, it's a game. Yay! I thought maybe I was buying a box that had dildos in it. I was confused. Thank God it's a game. I don't regret my $60 purchase.
No, it's a game where, I mean, it's not the worst ever. It's not the best ever. It's slightly above mediocre. I mean...
Slightly above mediocre. Jesus, man.
I would suggest it if you're a Final Fantasy fan, or if you're crazy enough to marathon every single Final Fantasy game ever, which, God...
I'm confused. If you were the kind of person who was going to marathon every Final Fantasy game ever, were you under the impression that if you didn't recommend Final Fantasy X, they weren't going to play that one?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you're marathoning every Final Fantasy game ever, this is
then by default, you will be playing 10 regardless of its quality.
Yes, I know that. What I'm trying to say is, you might not like 10 that much compared to all the other Final Fantasies.
Oh, I don't know. I bet you we could find some others that suck just as bad.
13. Lightning Returns.
Which one had the tiny people with fairy wings? All right. How about this? In Kingdom Hearts 2, they had tiny people with fairy wings I know was from Final Fantasy X. Or possibly 10-2.
I want to say 10-2.
There were like 3 female people.
Were they dressed kind of like tomboys?
No. Maybe like a punk band.
Yep, 10-2.
Okay.
I don't remember that.
Yuna and the other two chicks.
Oh, you're talking about the dress spheres.
Yes.
Okay.
I literally have no idea. I've played Kingdom Hearts 2, and I remember, like, there's a distinct possibility in Final Fantasy X they were not, like, pixie-sized people, but in Kingdom Hearts they were.
Okay, I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 2, so...
Oh. We should talk about that game instead of Final Fantasy X. That's... Well, actually, no, the Kingdom Hearts storyline's also pretty whack.
But at least it's entertaining.
But yeah, so... Where was I? Final Fantasy X. We're talking about Final Fantasy X. Yeah. So... Yeah, I just... Yeah, the Kingdom Hearts people, they were tiny. And they might not have been in Final Fantasy X. 10-2, you say?
Yes, they were 10-2 because they were, Titus disappeared from their dimension, and, like, so they went and traveled to Titus's dimension to get him back to their dimension or something?
No.
Okay, what is it then?
No, in 10-2, what ends up happening is that, there's all these, like, factions are trying to find this, super weapon. And then there's this ghost of this guy who, you see, the thing is that the thing you need to know, if you want to understand what's going on in 10-2, you have to understand that Titus in the first game, he actually was a dream construct. He was the Aeons, the summons, they are a bunch of spirits that are asleep in the world that are there from this thing called the dream. And they focus all their energy to make Titus manifest. He's essentially a summon, pretty much. And what ends up happening is...
What?
Yeah, like I said...
That is gibberish!
I know, right?
Literally all of the gibberish!
I know, right? I can't believe what I'm saying to myself. And then in 10-2, the character, this person who's the main bad guy... He's pretty much the person that they base Titus's image around, and he shows up trying to reactivate this
ultimate weapon.
Well, not Ultima weapon, but you know,
ultimate.
This.
Who are those three?
That is Pain, Yuna, and Riku.
Okay, because those are the three people I was talking about.
Yeah, that's Final Fantasy X too.
Yeah, I know. It says something about the garment grid. I was worried that...
Yeah, the garment grid is the dress sphere thing.
When you said dress sphere, immediately I thought of Final Fantasy 13-3, Lightning Returns.
No, the dress spheres is it's from a garment grid of 10-2, which you could change jobs during mid-fight and...
You can change jobs mid-fight?
Yeah.
Because that's new to the job system. Normally you can't change mid-fight.
Yeah, you can actually change mid-fight in that game using the dress spheres.
Yeah, you can do the same thing in Lightning Returns. Which I don't suggest anyone play Lightning Returns unless you really hate yourself.
Story begins as Yuna, Riku, and Pain recover Yuna's stolen garment grid. How do you steal a garment grid? What?
You steal her clothes.
From the LeBlanc Syndicate in the first of several encounters in which they vie for spheres. I officially don't want to read anymore. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Adding more...
I don't know why. I somehow like that. I somehow like these two games. I don't know why, but...
Have you played them since...
You know what? It's a good point. I haven't played them since high school, so... I might turn around and play them again and be like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Well, I'm in the middle of playing Final Fantasy X along with Persona 4 and World of Final Fantasy. So.
Why are you in the middle of playing so many games? Pick a game, play it.
Then pick another game, then play that.
Yeah.
I should probably do that.
No shit. This is like, you pop in a movie, you get 20 minutes in, you stop it, you take it out, you put a different movie in. 20 minutes in, you stop it, you take it out, you put a different movie in. 20 minutes in, you stop it, take it out, you put the first one back in.
Yeah, okay, okay, I got you.
There are definitely games that, you can play simultaneously. I mean, I wouldn't fault you for playing... Final Fantasy X and Civilization 6 at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're playing Final Fantasy X for the story, and you're playing Final Fantasy 6 God, I hope you're not playing Final Fantasy X for the story, actually. Please don't let that be a thing. But, 6 has a completely different gameplay style, and, you would never focus on the story of that game at all, because it doesn't have one.
So, bottom line for me about Final Fantasy X. Well, I already said it, but...
It's a game.
It's a game!
We covered that. Final Fantasy X is a game! Yay! I thought it was going to be a car.
RJ?
Hey, you know what? In retrospective, I still like it, like, looking back on it, but then I haven't played
At
it
least
since
all
high
of the parts
school.
you remember.
I haven't played it since high school, though, so I'm going to need to play it again to get a fresh perspective on it to see if I still like it.
All right.
Yeah, I've never played this game. So I don't actually have a lot to say. I actually still like the active time battle system.
Yeah.
I really hate the fact that Square decided that it had no place in modern games and has gotten rid of it from every game ever. Let's keep some games that have active time battle, please. I like it. It's a different style. Same thing goes with let's face it, Civ 6 proves that people still like turn-based strategy games, in spite of the fact that everybody was predicting, and like almost everybody outside of the Civilization series ditched turn-based strategy in favor of real-time strategy once that started becoming a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Civ 6 proves there's still people who are willing to play. In fact, Civ 6 proves there's still a lot of people willing to play quote-unquote outdated gameplay styles, so long as it's attached to a good fucking game.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone at Square who says that the reason that their later Final Fantasy active time battle games weren't selling as well as, things like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VI and, are missing the fact that it's not the gameplay itself that caused the sales to drop.
Yeah.
It's the fact that the games were fucking mediocre overall.
Yes.
You take the active time battle system and you put it in a good fucking game, and you're going to get a good game, and it will sell. It's not necessarily going to sell Call of Duty levels. If that's your expectation, back the fuck off, boss.
Right.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
But, you can get a decent return on a game if you budget it appropriately and you make a good fucking game with an active time battle system. That is a thing you can do. Same thing goes for all the old gameplay systems in Final Fantasy that Square has decided are worthless, pointless, and need to be thrown to the side. I've never played it, but it still used active time, so that's good. But it seems like yet another example of Square doing things because they can.
Not because they should.
Not because they stop to think they should. They just keep... They went to the M. Night Shyamalan school of fucking storytelling where twists equal depth. Twists do not equal depth. You can make a plot line as convoluted as you want, and it does not equate to depth. Just because you need a fucking flowchart on the wall to figure out what's going on in the story does not make your story deep.
Right.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes it annoying.
Yes. If your story is not deep, and let's face it, a lot of Final Fantasy stories are not all that deep, then having to have a flowchart just makes it a nuisance. A story that is deep and requires a flowchart can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But a game that just requires a flowchart because somebody thought that meant depth without actually giving the game real depth, and Square has been diving into that for years. I don't know if Final Fantasy 15 is doing that. I also don't know how tightly to the Final Fantasy 13-2 formula Final Fantasy 15 is actually
From
holding
what
up
I've
to.
seen, Final Fantasy 15.
Or 13 verses. That's what it was supposed to be originally, right?
Yes. Final Fantasy 15 is just an action RPG, from what I've seen.
Okay. What I'm talking about is Final Fantasy 13 came out in, what do we say, 2008?
Yeah, 2009.
2009. And they, at the same time, announced Final Fantasy 13 Versus, which eventually became Final Fantasy 15 7 years later.
Yes.
What I am curious about is how much of that original game plan is still in Final Fantasy 15. I don't give a damn about the gameplay style. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, I see now.
A 7-year gap could mean they have realized that a lot of their
Initial ideas.
a lot of what they were doing, story-wise and gameplay-wise, and making everything so goddamn shallow and throwing twists and everything, and doing all this shit just because they can, wasn't selling. That may explain the 7-year gap.
Yes.
Right.
And therefore 15, I haven't played it, but 15 may be better. I also haven't read any reviews of it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Final Fantasy 15 may be better. They may be restrained finally.
Yes.
I don't know. But if there is still a bunch of that Final Fantasy 13 versus DNA running through it, there's an excellent possibility that they didn't learn anything, and the 7-year gap is just explained by development of Final Fantasy 14, and then the release of Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, when they completely overhauled the entire game to make it not suck donkey balls.
Yeah.
That could also explain the 7-year gap. I don't know. I was not heavily involved in the development process, so I don't know. And also, they did not leak a lot about what Final Fantasy 13 Versus was outside of that first trailer involved a bunch of trains for some reason. And that seems to have gone and been replaced with cars. So yeah, Final Fantasy 15, they may have finally realized that the shit they've been doing for most of 20 years is not a good way of telling a story. And it's why all of their game sales have been tanking so hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they learned any of that or not.
Okay,
So.
Is that it for Final Fantasy?
So, Advent Children.
No, Wes is going to do his music thing first.
I got nothing for music this week.
Why do you have nothing for music this week? We've had 2 weeks off.
He's an idiot.
How did you show up for this podcast so ill-prepared?
I didn't...
You're the one who's always ragging on us for not trying as hard as you do. You're showing how excited about the podcast you are and how you want to develop this into a real big thing. And we aren't trying hard enough, and now you don't have any music.
I do have something for music.
Okay.
So, have you guys heard of mumble rap?
No.
Is that where somebody uses the telecommunications software Mumble
rap?
To rap?
No.
Oh.
No, it's where somebody's wrapping up chicken in a deli while muttering crazy things to themselves.
Oh.
No, mumble rap.
Is it where you gift wrap a computer that only has Mumble installed on it?
No, mumble rap is a form of rap. Where,
Oh, is it where you stuff your hands in front of your face while trying to talk into a microphone?
Mumble rap.
Why is it that I'm the only person who understands microphone etiquette around here? And there you are, swinging around back and forth in that chair, looking in all sorts of different directions that aren't the microphone. Your volume on the podcast is probably changing wildly.
Gotcha. Okay.
You keep sticking your hands in front of your face. I love the one where you stick your hand like right in front of the microphone like this because you're gesticulating. And I'm sure my volume got cut because my hand is blocking the microphone.
Gotcha. Mumble rap is a type of rap which the artist uses auto-tune and goes no, which we're supposed to believe is words.
I'm confused. How is auto-tune being used in this? If they just went na, why do they need auto-tune? Auto-tune does not turn na into words. That's not what auto-tune does.
Yes, but that's what they think it does.
That's what who thinks it does.
The idiots that make it.
I'm thinking that's what Wesley might thinks it does.
No, Young Thug thinks it does. I fucking hate mumble rap, okay? Here's why mumble rap needs to die. It's killing rap.
How is it killing rap?
Because instead of getting, like, thoughtful songs about rap and, like, about, rap music, thoughtful rap music, like, being political or social like Tupac or saying fuck the police like NWA, we're getting party anthems. And don't get me wrong, party anthems are fun.
What does party anthems have to do with mumble rap?
That's basically all of mumble rap. Party anthems.
Right. But is party anthems exclusively mumble rap?
No.
So party anthems is ruining rap, not mumble rap.
No.
This is like claiming that the guy who pulls shoes out of the trash and is selling arsenic-laced shoes to people on the street corner is killing the shoe industry. Because the shoe industry also happens to be selling arsenic-laced shoes. It's the arsenic-laced shoes, not the guy on the street corner.
Gotcha. Okay. What I mean is, okay, we can have party anthem. Party anthems are fun. Party anthems are good. Mumble rap is not good because it's the same shit over and over again. And to a point, the genre gets stagnant.
Sure. Once again, if mumble rap is the guy on the corner selling shoes he dug out of the trash, is he putting Walmart out of business?
No.
But we're both in agreement that the guy selling shoes on the corner that he dug out of the trash sucks.
Yes.
So mumble rap can suck without it killing the rap industry, right?
Yes.
So you should either retract that statement or draw slightly better lines
Fine.
between the 2
I'll
things.
retract my statement. What I mean is, fuck mumble rap. It needs to die. I'm getting
Okay.
sick and tired of hearing rappers with autotune going, no, trapper.
Once again, why do you keep bringing autotune into this? If you don't like autotune, let's discuss why you don't like autotune.
I like autotune.
Then why do you keep bringing it into this as if it is somehow ruining mumble rap? Like if autotune is somehow the bad thing involved here.
No, it's not necessarily the bad thing involved here. It's the fact that they think that using autotune while mumbling alleged rap songs is something that is good. It's not. It's fucking dumb.
You know what's dumb about it?
What?
Mumbling rap songs with or without autotune.
Yes.
So why do we have to keep bringing autotune into this?
I got nothing for that.
Okay. So you don't like mumble rap because
It sucks.
it sucks. And it sucks because
They're mumbling words instead of actually having clear, laid down dialogue. Don't get me wrong. There are some mumble rappers who, I shouldn't say mumble rappers, or there's one artist who technically does mumble rap that I'm a fan of. His name is Future. But the reason why I like his is because you can actually understand what he's saying. So he's not necessarily mumble rap, but just...
I'm confused. Is he or isn't he mumble rap? You have said both ways here.
He's not. He's not a mumble rapper.
Okay. So are you going to retract your statement about there being a mumble rapper you like?
Retracting my statement. Okay.
Okay.
I don't like mumble rap as a whole. It should just stop being a thing because god damn it's annoying when everyone's like, "Hey, did you hear the newest Young Thug song?" No, because I listen to actual music.
I'm confused. If somebody says, "Hey, did you hear the newest Garth Brooks song?" Do you also decide all country music should go away forever?
No.
Okay.
Just
So why does mumble rap need to go away? I am curious here.
because it's just a bad genre of music, in my opinion. In my opinion, it should go away.
Is country music a bad genre of music in your opinion?
It's not the worst.
Is jazz a bad...
No.
Is mumble rap literally the only genre of music that you consider bad?
No.
Do you think all of the ones you consider bad should just go away?
No.
So just mumble rap.
Just mumble rap.
Why? I'm terribly curious. Why does mumble rap need to go away?
Because it's fucking annoying. I'm getting sick and tired of people saying, "Oh, Young Thug's the greatest rapper of all time." Fuck no.
So stop talking to those people.
I do, but
Wouldn't you get annoyed if somebody walked up to you and kept telling you that Garth Brooks was the greatest artist of all time?
Yes.
Okay.
I stop talking to them. And I have stopped talking to those people, but they keep popping up. It's fucking weird.
How do they... I think you have a completely different problem here that we haven't identified yet.
Yes.
But I'm not a paid therapist, so I don't think I'm qualified to help you with it.
Yes. Okay, bottom line.
Bottom line, mumble rap is bad.
Yes.
For reasons that you're still not certain of.
Yes.
But we are certain it's not because of autotune.
Yes.
And it's not killing rap.
It's not killing rap.
But it is annoying to you.
It is annoying.
And apparently it's reached the level of annoying that you wish everybody who liked it didn't have their favorite thing.
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite thing? I'm going to find somebody who thinks it should go away and bring them to the podcast. You don't know what your favorite thing is?
Let's go with that.
Hmm.
So Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Well, no, first I need to name some of my favorite things. They're, Raindrops on Roses, and... No, that's the only one I got off the top of my head.
You're trying to do the song, weren't you?
Yes. Raindrops on roses and
Whiskers on kittens.
whiskers on kittens. Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of that whole song. Fuck.
Fuck.
I should know this. It like is playing on a loop at work.
It is?
Yeah, like 2 weeks before where I work, the music that plays over the PA system is provided by corporate. Corporate mails out a DVD or CD or something, and you have to put it in. It's got advertisements throughout it and everything. But yeah, you put it in and it just plays on repeat. It's been playing Christmas music since 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
You had to want to strangle a motherfucker.
No, unlike you, I can dislike something without becoming violent over it.
Okay.
I do not think all Christmas music needs to die just because I'm moderately annoyed by it at work.
Well,
So, yeah, just...
yes.
So, Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children. For people who may not know, is a 2000-something animated feature. It was, I believe, their second animated feature, if I remember right. After
Spirits Within.
After Spirits Within.
Yep.
And it is a sequel of sorts to Final Fantasy VII. I think it might also be a sequel to Final Fantasy, what was 7? Chrono?
Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII, fuck, what was that game?
Josh goes on and on about that game. I should fucking know.
Anyway, yeah. But yeah, whatever that game was, I believe that it was a... I never played that game.
It was a
so I don't know.
PSP exclusive game. I remember that.
A what?
PSP exclusive game?
PSP exclusive. Yeah, I've never owned a PSP, so I've never played it. I just know that I've heard Final Fantasy VII Advent Children uses some of the stuff from that game.
Yeah.
To be fair, in my opinion, the Final Fantasy VII storyline was convoluted enough. Like they had reached a decent balance for the amount of depth that game had to the amount of convoluted storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And they reached a nice balance. I have replayed Final Fantasy VII since I graduated high school. It is not a story that's going to win any sort of Oscars or anything. But it is also not overly convoluted for the amount of depth that it has. It's actually got a pretty straightforward storyline. You know, space monster crash lands, gets experimented on, manages to psychically do things to people and make them do evil shit in a bid to destroy the world.
Yes. Wait, we talking about 7 or Advent Children?
7.
Okay.
You know, so it's actually pretty straightforward. They throw some twists in there as you're uncovering things. But, you know, it's got the right amount of depth and gravitas and that sort of stuff. Then you get into Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, and due to the
Earth wants to, like, kill people or something.
Yeah, that came out in 2005. So we are clearly smack dab in the middle. I mean, this is after 10. And what year did we decide 10-2 came out?
2003.
So it's after 10-2. So yeah, we are clearly smack dab in the middle of the more convoluted the storyline, the better it is.
Yeah. And Advent Children, man.
And yeah, no, it as with all of the Final Fantasy movies I've seen, I did go see Spirits Within. They are beautiful. They're, you know, well done with
that
CGI.
CGI is fucking masterful.
I mean, the characters literally show no emotion on their face most of the time. They didn't do a very good job of animating the faces with the CGI, but then again, they didn't really need to, because not a lot of the characters had emotion, so...
Cloud's just sitting there, I am tormented, fear my pain.
I don't even think that he was shown to be all that tormented in Final Fantasy Advent Children.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was just kind of like, can we get this fucking over with? I have a delivery service to do.
He seemed more bored than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the storyline just got super convoluted. Something.
The Earth is poisoned. Genova has, like, triplets or some shit running around doing stuff. trying to resurrect Sephiroth, and there's some bullshit here and
I'm
there.
pretty sure the storyboards were, all right, Cloud fights Sephiroth. All right, Cloud fights these guys. All right, Cloud fights these guys. All right, how do we get from here to there to there to there to there? We got all these awesome fights we've plotted out, and now we need something to connect them. You, intern, make a story.
Guy's sitting there, this has been my dream all my life. Writes down the...
No, I'm pretty sure he was sitting there eating paste because he was actually the 5-year-old that was brought in by one of the secretaries or something for, parent bring your kid to work day.
Damn, they start Square Enix employees young.
And they were just like, you write a story, and the kid's like, okay. Big handful of paste, write a little bit of story. Big handful of paste, write a little bit of story.
No, I'm imagining the intern taking acid before like a college student intern. He's like, fuck it. I gotta write this in a night because I've been putting this off all week.
No,
acid.
No, because they have it. I can't think the writing staff just got drunk one night, did a little bit of weed, maybe some acid, and played Dirge of Cerberus right before doing a writing session. Which Dirge of Cerberus was a standalone title that starred nothing but Vincent Valentine from Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
How many sequels were there for that game? I watched
a lot.
It was stupid popular.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not yelling. Hey,
yeah.
that, but
Why did they do a standalone sequel about one of the more boring characters from the game?
It's apparently a bunch of emo goth chicks like him and want to have vampire babies with him.
I've seen enough fan.
Oh, so it's the Twilight crowd.
Yes, exactly.
Great. So now we can just blame the Twilight crowd for everything.
Yep.
Why was Trump elected? Twilight crowd! I don't know how that works out, but that's our new excuse.
She has the bleach blonde
No,
hair,
if
like
anything,
Edward.
you think the Twilight crowd would vote for Hillary.
Oh god.
I mean, she's ancient enough to be a vampire.
No wonder Bill cheated. Down there is like a tomb.
Well, you gotta figure Trump's got the whole evil thing going.
True.
Gosh, this is an interesting tangent.
Really just don't have time for tangents. So you gotta be out here at 4:30 now because people are idiots.
Why are you out of here at 4:30?
My mom's picking me up then.
And you saw me shaking my head no. You were supposed to write, no, can't do it. I need more notice than that. Because no, you can't do it. You need more notice than that. But we could have started the podcast early if we had more notice. More notice than that. You're an adult now. Learn to stand up to your mom.
We're just stand up to both your parents.
If you fucking let people walk all over you, they will gladly.
Yep.
Trust me, I will walk all over you if you let me. As will everybody else. Stand up for yourself, jackass.
Then I need to go at 4:30.
How does that help you stand up for yourself?
Because I'm standing up to you.
No, you have to stand up to your mom.
So now you're saying to stand up to me, but not right now.
I'm not telling you to do something.
Well, it's just...
It's just what?
I'd like to get up to the cities.
Then tell your mom that you need to leave at the original time or need more notice. You can't change your plans on a dime. I mean, could you imagine if instead of sitting here doing a podcast, you had been banking on leaving at 5:30 and had gone to Mankato or somewhere else outside of town? And because you don't drive, you either would have had to convince whoever drove you to drive you back early and ruin their day because your mom randomly changed her mind at 3:30 in the afternoon, 2 hours before you were supposed to be leaving. No, that's bullshit. She needs to know that's bullshit. She needs to know you won't settle for that. Because that's bullshit. If I had taken you to Mankato and if I had to fucking leave and come back early because your mom, 2 hours before you were supposed to leave, randomly bumped the time up to an hour, and I had to cut my afternoon an hour short to accommodate her new schedule with that kind of notice, I'd be shouting this at her when I got back. Because that's bullshit.
Yes, but...
Yes, but nothing. There is no excuse. It's bullshit. Your mother may well have given you an ultimatum at the end, and you still may have left early. But by capitulating right away, she doesn't know that it's bothering you.
I told her that I said I think so, and then she's like, question mark, I'm like, I have a podcast, but I could end it early.
No, did you notice I think so is, can you leave early? I think so is not, no, I'm busy.
Yes, it's not, no, I'm busy, but it's, oh God.
No, there is no other excuse here.
Yes, I know that.
Nothing you have told me has suggested that you even moderately made it seem like this is an inconvenience.
Wasn't thinking?
Gosh! Does that sound like a refrain that is useful?
No.
Maybe you should, I don't know, think.
All right.
So yeah, you need to make sure your mom understands that this is upsetting to you.
Okay.
Fine, you will do it because it's the only way you're going to get this done, but you're not fucking happy about it.
Okay.
Don't pretend to be happy about it. Don't pretend to be okay with this.
All right.
Because people will fucking walk all over you and they will take advantage of you. Because Wesley will fucking change his mind and bend over backwards to fucking make sure nobody else is inconvenienced. Even if it fucking ruins his day. Oh, and even if it inconveniences people that he's not currently talking to about it because he's hiding it from them. So that he can inconvenience them with a surprise, I gotta go now.
Shit. Sorry. That doesn't help.
No. Apologizing does not make it better. Doing something on purpose with the intent of I will apologize later.
Does not help at all.
No.
Okay.
That just makes you an asshole.
Gotcha.
So Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Yes. Convoluted as fuck storyline.
Yeah, it's retarded. It's dumb. I mean, they randomly have segments where children have some sort of disease. Did adults have the disease?
No, they didn't. No, wait, I thought Cloud did. Didn't he?
I don't know. I only remember kids having the disease.
That might have been it.
Like, I don't know if any other adults actually had it. I remember kids having it.
Mm.
There may have been adults that had it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The fact that
mostly kids.
The fact that I don't know shows just how little impact the disease storyline had on anything.
Yeah. Like, God.
Like why did they need the whole subplot with the one little girl sort of occasionally trying to maybe make friends with some of the diseased kids? And the whole plot about the diseased kids, like, without even interacting with the main characters, they were, like, brought in as, you know, like, a C storyline of look at these homeless, I think they were homeless.
Yeah, they
like,
were.
street urchin children who have this random disease and how it moderately affects their life. I mean, to be fair, other than the fact that nobody was willing to talk to them and they were ostracized, that was chalked up to being the disease, but you ever met street urchins? As a general rule, that's the exact way they get treated.
Right.
Yes.
If you're a homeless kid living on the street by yourself without parents, that's the way adults who have jobs and homes and shit treat you.
Yeah.
Disease or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, what did the disease have to do with it? Why are we following these kids? And it's not even like that story arc paid off in any way. You get to the end, everybody's cured of the disease, and, like, there's a scene where, like, all of a sudden they're friends with the other little girl who they were kind of friends with when they were diseased, so... what?
It's, I don't fucking know. This film is a clusterfuck plus 50 more.
Yeah, I mean, about the only thing that it has going for it is that it's pretty.
Right.
And there was that Final Fantasy, the 7, I think it was the Victory theme, that, was the ringtone of one of the guys'
Yeah,
cell phones.
it was.
Like, yeah.
Like right at the end of that fight with Tifa, all of a sudden you hear.
Yeah, it was, interesting.
Yeah, and the fight scenes, like, the thing that near as I can tell, like, they drew out the fight scenes and they were like, here, let's do this. Here's the storyline that connects the fight scenes. Most of them weren't even all that interesting.
Right.
They were adopting the same visual level of spectacle. I mean, I'm annoyed with the fact that they took the classic Cloud look from the original Final Fantasy VII PlayStation game, and they fucking turned it into this belt-buckled black leather jacket.
Belt buckles!
I mean, what the fuck was that shit? Why did they do that costume change? There was so much visual noise going on there, I could hardly follow what the
and then
fuck
there's
was
his
going on.
Buster Sword. Did you remember seeing that?
What do you mean?
Cloud's Buster Sword.
What about it?
It was like the blade, and then like there's like a part in the middle cut out, but then there's like rings going through it and shit. It was fucking...
That wasn't the Buster Sword. Okay, that explains it.
Yes.
Right.
Not every sword Cloud wields is called a Buster Sword.
Cloud's
Just
sword.
that one sword is called the
Okay.
Buster Sword.
Cloud's sword in the...
And it was actually featured in the movie, so...
Yeah. Yeah, Cloud's sword in Advent Children fucking just... What the fuck? Like, we need to add rings, cut a part out in the middle.
Then there was like the fact that he had like that one sword that like was like a bunch of swords all in one.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
God, I have no idea. It was so fucking stupid.
I mean, the only way to do something like that is to make the most uncomfortable handles ever.
I know, right?
Or be that one guy from One Piece who, he has like 2 swords in his hands, 1 sword in his mouth, and does swords with his, Zolo, that's his name.
How does any of that create a sword that you stick together so it acts as one sword occasionally, but you can split it up into multiple swords?
No clue, that's where I fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Not him having multiple swords. We were
Yeah.
talking about how the sword looks like a single blade in one scene and then can split up in like 3, because it's actually like 3 swords that are like puzzle locked together. Except if it's one, you've got 2 options here. One, when it's all in one piece, your handle is this massively thick thing that like, you basically need gorilla paws to put your hands around. Or, when it splits up into multiple swords, each of the handles is so fucking thin, it's practically cutting into your palm while you try wielding it.
Yeah, it's a thing. My god. And then,
Yeah, I mean, they can look cool so long as you don't think too hard about it.
Yeah.
Once you start thinking hard about it, you're like, Jesus, that is just the lamest thing ever.
Which reminds me of, what is it? The, just randomly, the motorcycle scene in the beginning, where, Cloud and the triplets are fighting on motorcycles.
Sure.
That one was fucking...
Triplets, Jesus Christ.
That is not the one that annoyed me most. The one that annoyed me most was the one in the middle of the movie where they're driving through the city.
Yeah.
And like jumping off of buildings and helicopters chasing them and the fuck was that ridiculousness?
I don't know.
But no, like the motorcycle thing with the twins, or the, not the twins, the triplets. It's fucking, what the fuck? Like, it's like, action shot here, action shot there, action shot here. And like, don't get me wrong, that's how you film a proper action scene, but it was very unconnected. It felt like, the Bourne movies fight scenes.
I'm confused. What are you talking about with your action shot here, action shot here, action shot here is the correct way of filming a fight scene?
I don't know.
Have you seen Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix?
Yes.
Have you seen how many of those apparently incorrectly filmed fight scenes all use one camera angle? There isn't a single cut in the entire thing.
Gotcha. Okay, what I mean is...
And have you also noticed all of the modern things where they are using multiple cameras, but they're also using CGI to make it look like it's all one camera shot as they make a pan from one legitimate camera angle to another.
Gotcha. No.
All trying to make it look like a seamless, uncut camera shot for these fight scenes. Apparently these are improperly filmed.
No, what I mean is, I don't like how cutty it gets with that shit.
Okay, I agree with that. I'm commenting on your statement of the proper way of filming an action scene.
I should have said that's one of the proper ways, one of the ways to film an action scene, is what I should have said.
You know what else is one way to film an action scene?
What?
you take the camera and you sit it so that it is on the ground facing straight up into the sky, and you just, whoever happens to be punching above it gets filmed, and that's it.
Okay.
There would be a terrible way to do it, but
It's a way.
I don't know why we're pointing out the fact that they filmed an action scene using a way to film an action scene. Because how else were they going to do it?
Yeah, I should retract the whole statement.
But you didn't like all the jump cuts.
No, the jump cuts were fucking aggravating.
Well, it was the mid-2000s. Basically everything after the Bourne Identity. Because, I don't know, it somehow worked in the Bourne Identity. All the jump cuts in the fight scenes.
Yeah.
That worked. But everybody decided that was the only way to do fight scenes anymore.
Yeah.
And jump cutting every half second during a fight scene became what everybody did.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it doesn't work in most things. Like, it didn't even really work for me in the Bourne sequels.
Yeah, it didn't work at all, and it's...
I thought it worked well in the Bourne Identity. Part of that, I'm sure, was the fact that it was new and, you know, unique. But yeah, I thought it worked well in the Bourne Identity, but even in the Bourne sequels, the jump cutting just didn't work.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as good. And then all the jump cuts in all of the other films, yeah, no, Jesus, I hate jump cut action scenes. They are so annoying. You can't ever tell what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's just visual noise. You're like, all of a sudden you get a zoom, a close-up of a fist hitting somebody. You're like, I don't even know whose fist that is. You know.
Yeah.
And another reason to not know whose fist that is, there's an excellent possibility that's some random Grips fist. Because if you've got a tight up close shot of somebody's fist, you know, you're going to need multiple takes to get it to look right.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you going to pay Robert Downey Jr. to stand there throwing punches for several hours?
No.
No!
No, you're gonna get one of the jackasses that does the electrical work or something.
Yeah, you get a grip or somebody to come in and throw punches for a while. You pay them, you know, their hourly wage, because who's going to notice that's not Robert Downey Jr.'s fist?
The really paranoid geeks of the internet.
They do the same thing in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
I think there's one person, if I remember right, who does all of the shifting. So anytime they zoom in on somebody shifting, there's only one person who is every hand that you see shifting. No matter whose car it is, there's one hand that's doing it. And it's
even
like,
the black guy.
No, I actually think they did like digitally edit it after post, if I remember right. Because like it's one of the producers or something. He just sits there. I mean, because the way that you have to sit with the camera at that angle and the way that's all set up, it's extremely uncomfortable for the actor. And once again, are you going to pay Vin Diesel to fucking sit there and shift the car when you don't see his face?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, no, you're not going to do that. But yeah, just the visual noise on screen in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, it's the same thing that affected all the fight scenes in the Transformers movies.
Yes.
Although they are getting better. I mean, the movies aren't getting better, but their fight scenes are getting better.
One thing. One step at a time.
But the robot designs in Transformers, you know, they are super detailed.
It's a bunch of it, dude. They are so confusing looking.
Yeah, but there's so much detail that you literally are like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. The only way to understand the fight scenes is to like get cross-eyed, so everything's blurry, so all you have is the shape of the creature. You know, and it keeps you from seeing the robot ball scene.
I am directly beneath the enemy scrotum. Scene.
Yeah, God. But yeah, so Final Fantasy VII Advent Children has the same thing. There's just so much detail on everything.
Yeah.
And they made sure that it was all so clearly rendered that you could make out every little curve of every little detail of every little thing they put in. And they just shoved it so full of little things that anytime there's an action scene, you're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah, it's...
especially the fight between Cloud and Sephiroth.
Oh my god, was that a fight or just an epileptic montage?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just like all of a sudden, oh god, I can't tell what's going on. I got a migraine.
Yeah, just people thrashing everywhere.
You know, I made a mistake the first time I watched this movie. I was watching it when I was sick, and I had like this massive migraine. I get half an hour into the film, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna die from this film.
Yeah, no. It's a fucking mess.
Mm-hmm.
Just a goddamn nightmare of
Everything.
It is such a fucked up mess.
On the bright side, the story isn't the worst.
I'm confused. Didn't we spend the first half of this segment bashing the story?
Shit, we did.
Do you flip-flop on everything within minutes? I'm curious.
No, I just... yeah, you're right. Blank mind.
But yeah, no, outside of... I mean, everything does look pretty when it's a static shot. And you can really take in all those details. But yeah, there's a reason a lot of video games, especially as graphics have gotten better, they started putting in motion blur.
Yeah.
It's because your brain is rebelling. It knows for a fact that when it moves, like when you move, things blur. You do not have crisp, clear focus on everything while you move your head and your visual spectrum. You don't have a crisp, clear picture of everything. So here you are moving around on the screen and everything stays perfectly crisp and clear, especially at high speeds. And you're just like, oh God, I'm going to get sick. So I started putting in motion blur because it's a necessary thing. Jesus, it's got to be even worse in VR.
Oh, shit.
Have you heard about the way that VR handles... there's two ways that they handle the sickness that can easily come with VR. One, they do a wipe. So when you move your head, the screen dissolves to black, and then the new orientation shows up. So there is no motion.
Okay.
The second one is there is some sort of object. It's frequently referred to as the bird cage. That is stationary in front of you, which causes your brain to interpret it the same way as an automobile. Because when you're in a car, you're doing 65 miles an hour down the road, but you don't feel like you're moving super quickly, right?
Yeah.
And that is because the dash in everything is stationary. So even though things are blurring by outside your window, the dash and everything is stationary. And from what I understand, people whose brains have difficulty with that are people who tend to get motion sick. A lot of it is that their brain or their eyes and their body are not cooperating. Their eyes are seeing things blur past, but they feel like they're just sitting there, not moving. And their brain's going, fuck this shit.
Yeah, no
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Thanks.
But yeah, it's the same thing that happens in VR unless you have the bird cage, which is the stationary object like your car dash or... So yeah, it's assumed that VR racing games are going to be probably the least damaging, the ones that cause the least amount of motion sickness for everybody.
All right.
Because then you're going to have the dash, and it's going to be very similar to driving a car.
Yeah.
Outside of, even in a car, you do feel the acceleration and everything, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, the static shots
Are fucking beautiful.
are fucking beautiful in Final Fantasy VII. They are fucking gorgeous, but any of the action sequences, they are just cut together and you can't tell what the fuck is going on. The story's convoluted as all hell.
It's fucking... Oh. It's...
So yeah, bottom line from me, Final Fantasy Advent Children, saying so we have to wrap this up early today. I could continue to lay into this movie for another half hour easy.
Yeah, no shit.
But yeah, wrapping it up, it's gorgeous to look at, but you could probably, check that out on like YouTube and some like 20-second clips or something. No reason to see the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, no shit. Yep.
Yeah, there are some gorgeous things, but then again, you've probably seen equally gorgeous things now, because we're a decade later.
Yeah.
It's no longer the creme de la creme of CGI animation. But yeah, the story is convoluted as all hell. If you are a Final Fantasy VII fanboy, and you absolutely loved every twist, turn, couldn't get enough of it in the original Final Fantasy, you will probably love the convoluted nonsense that is this story.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it just there's not enough depth to it. It is the twists and turns for the sake of twists and turns, without any real depth or meaning behind any of it. It's just there to make you, the audience, go, "Oh my God, I didn't see that coming." Of course you didn't see that coming. You're literally in a kiddie pool in the yard,
Right.
and a shark attacked you. How the hell were you going to see that coming? You weren't expecting it to come rolling up on a skateboard.
Just going to the skate park. God damn it, it's another shark. Fuck my life.
So yeah, I'm sure with the high school set, this movie is a must see.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, when you're in high school, you don't need as much depth because you haven't experienced as much shit. Until you start experiencing things that have depth, you don't notice the things that are lacking in depth as much. And, it's not like Final Fantasy VII Advent Children lacks all depth. It does have some depth, just not anywhere near enough for the complexity that it tries to throw out at you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I if you're a Final Fantasy fanboy, I watch it. If you're just mildly interested in the story, of Final Fantasy VII, the video game, I wouldn't watch it. It's actually going to make you dislike the story of Final Fantasy VII. Because it adds things to the narrative that will then make you look back on the Final Fantasy VII story told in the game and go, wow, so that's what that really meant? Gosh, now that's stupid. When I thought it was this thing over here, it was cool. Now that it's that, nope, that's just dumb. Mm-hmm. It's one of those properties where if you let it, it will retroactively ruin the original experience.
Yes.
Yes. So I don't recommend it for anybody who isn't a fanboy. I just... maybe watch it once. Maybe make a drinking game out of it. See if you can keep your lunch down after you're fucking watching all the jump cut fight scenes and shit.
A shot every time they do a jump cut, you're gonna die within the first fight.
No, I just meant drink and then watch the film.
Yeah.
And see if you don't vomit from the visualness in your alcohol brain.
Oh yeah.
No.
Don't do a shot every time.
No, you will die so quickly. I can't think of anything. There's two ways that it would happen. One, you don't ever drink. Two, you will die from having too many shots if you tried making a drinking game out of every time this happens on screen, I drink.
Okay, so bottom line from you, RJ?
Yeah, I can't really recommend it for anybody who's not a Final Fantasy VII fanboy. Just
bottom line for me, it's scenery porn.
Yeah, it's CG scenery porn.
Watch it if you're a diehard Final Fantasy fan. Like, you commit seppuku to anyone who says fuck 13. Which if you do, please, no.
You commit seppuku to anyone?
Against anyone. Oh, fuck.
Against? Do you know? You are aware that seppuku is when you kill yourself, right?
Yes.
So the only one it's to or against is yourself.
Yes. Fine, if you kill anyone who says anything bad about the Final Fantasy series, I mean, you've probably already watched it and probably masturbated to it 5 times a day. And that's not a bad day. But it's a film.
It's a film.
It's a film.
So what we've learned about Final Fantasy today. Final Fantasy X is a game. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is a film. The highlights of Wesley. Yay!
I should just cut a montage together.
So, this has been the Esoteric Podcast. I am T.J.Bunker. With me is Wesley, otherwise known as Demos Sai. You can find him on YouTube under his YouTube channel. Remember, there's a space between Demos and I for reasons. You might think those reasons were heroin or maybe cocaine. As in, not enough
acid.
of it. And, of course, we're with RJ, who is known as Tuskgarr. You can... When are you starting your Twitch streaming back up?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Maybe the new year. RJ
Yeah,
will be back
that's what
to-
I'm actually thinking, but
Yep.
I don't want to put a hard, nail into that yet.
Sure. So maybe in the new year, RJ will be back on his twitch.tv/Tuskgarr, Tuskgarr, Tuskgarr. See, that rolls off the tongue. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. Unlike Demosai, which does not sound like there's a space in it. And it sounds retarded if you say Demos I. So yeah, you can check us out on twitch.tv/the_esoteric_podcast. God, I hate saying that. But that's where we are. You can check us out on YouTube. We are the Esoteric Podcast over on YouTube. Give us a search. We also do OST reviews over on our YouTube channel. We do random thoughts videos over on our YouTube channel. So yeah, check those out. And you can also check out our Twitter, where we Twitter poorly. At the very least, it'll tell you when all of our new stuff goes up. If you're interested in continuing to check things out, we're at the Esoteric Pod, and I continue to promise that we will be doing that. Twitter, better. You can check out our blog, which I promise by the end of this week will be an actual thing. That is at www.theesotericpodcast.com or just theesotericpodcast.com.
Right.
And the current plan when I get around to things is we will embed all the YouTube videos over there as well. So you can always just, once I get it set up and running properly, you can just go to theesotericpodcast.com and check out all of our videos from there.
Yeah.
And then if you like what we're doing, you want to support us, you want to see our ugly faces, you want to get us some better mic equipment. We're looking into branching out into other stuff, maybe some live action skits and stuff, so we need some, video equipment for that too. Support us on Patreon. We are patreon.com/esotericpodcast. And yeah, give us some money. We'll thank you for it. So yeah, that has been this week's episode of the Esoteric Podcast. Wesley, if you will tell us about our music guy and take us out.
The producer of our intros and outros is an artist by the name of Music. Music is an awesome producer. Worked with them in the past. Just check out his channel. There are links in the YouTube description. Anyways, thank you for watching this week's episode of the Esoteric Podcast. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
It's the musicality. It's the musicality. It's the musicality.
Case Why.